yet?
Man, so it's funny you asked. Pancakes, omelet with bacon and cheese.
Doing it right.
And French fries.
Not the lean potatoes.
French fries.
Okay.
French fries. And maybe a sweet tea, but I'm trying to, so just water.
I got you.
Yeah.
After you got to do a workout, right?
I will eventually once I get home, but not today. Not today.
EJ, what have you seen out of Keaton Slovis, Nick Patty, and the Pitt quarterbacks?
I'll tell you what, both were super accurate. The competition, I think, is good for both quarterbacks because it brings the best out you. But from what I saw today, I mean, Keaton looked great, especially in the situations, 2 minute, pretty much 2 plays, a big throw, and then a red zone seam that he banged. I thought Nick did really well. The good part for both of them, right, is you have a new offensive coordinator. So neither guy necessarily has a leg up on the other. Nobody necessarily has the time on task with a OC or something like that. So I think that's, whoever they do decide it's going to be a fair decision is what I'm trying to say. So
if one of them wins the battle and has like a really good year, that could be back-to-back really strong years of a transition at quarterback. That's not something you see all the time in the ACC.
No, not necessarily, but with the transfer portal, that's what you kind of create, and that's the beauty of it. Guys, if it doesn't work out one place, another man's trash is sometimes another man's treasure, right? So I think that's the good part of where college football has trended. And again, it just offers a young man another opportunity to just extend his career. And again, if you're not comfortable at one spot, because it's the thing, like if they choose Keaton, does Nick jump in? You know what I mean? But I think he's a senior at this point, so it'll be interesting. I think it's going to come down to the wire.
Coach Narduzzi has talked about the quarterback showing the locker room that he's the guy for the job. From your experience, what does that entail?
Well, I think one, it just entails leading by example first, right? You want to be a guy that shows up early, leaves late, somewhat of the cliche things that you have to do as a quarterback, but also relationship-wise. Do you hang out with the guys off the field? Can the guys trust you? Can the guys talk freely around you? Do they think you're what they would call in the locker room a fed? Go back to a coach and tattle and all that kind of stuff, and you got to be one of the guys, So I think that's probably been a big key for Keaton because he's a new. And that's why I was saying Nick somewhat has a leg up because he does have the familiarity with the team. He kind of got recruited with these guys, played with them last year and years before. So we'll see.
Do you feel like it's the kind of thing in most cases where the locker room's probably not going to be surprised when that announcement gets made? Like it'll probably be understood at that point, everybody will kind of
Well, look,
it?
I've only been here for one day, and if I had to choose, I would say both did really, really well today. So I do think Coach Narduzzi has a hard decision, but a good decision. When you have 2 good quarterbacks, you're always in a good spot because, it's a long year, and if you want to go to a championship, you're talking about 13, 14 games, right? So if something does happen to the first one, it's good knowing you have a confident one behind them, no matter who, is the starter to start the season. But a lot of times the team will decide who's the guy because they're going to follow one or the other, right? And so any team I've been on, that's kind of what's always happened. The defense will kind of gravitate toward a guy. The receivers will gravitate toward a guy. So I'm sure that's what will happen here too.
What did you see from Slovis when the heat was on when he was at USC?
When the heat was on him at USC, I mean, his situation was somewhat injury-ridden, right? When you have injuries and another guy comes in, I think it was Jackson Dart. It's funny how him, Keaton, JT Daniels, and Jackson Dart were all USC quarterbacks, and none of them playing there anymore. But again, like I said, the transfer portal with injuries, and then I think the coach that was there, Coach Helton, got fired, and Keaton was like, all right, well, let me get out and go somewhere else, and found a home here in Pitt. So, I think he handled it well as you can. Looking back at his freshman year, I think that's why everybody was hyped and excited about him because I think he was talking about it earlier, Pac-12 freshman of the year, whatever the list is, right? But he had an awesome freshman year. So he has the ability. Now I just think it's a matter of him getting an opportunity.
What was it? Is it an advantage for West Virginia that their OC was also the OC at USC when Keaton was there?
Maybe, but look, I mean, once you get out on the white lines, that stuff doesn't matter. Maybe during the film room or, he might be telling the defensive coordinator, like, hey, they might run this, or they have this call, whatever, or maybe this is something that Keaton struggled with when I was with him at, a previous school, but, it's a new year. And, a lot of that stuff pre-snap or pre-game, that doesn't matter. Once you get in the white lines, you got to execute what's in front of you.
EJ, there's a really strong group of quarterbacks in the ACC this year. Do you have a favorite? Do you have one that you think is the best? Man,
I honestly think they're all really, really good. Coming into it, naturally you want to think Devin Leary, just based off the year he had last year with his efficiency. The team he also has coming back. So we could possibly see an NC State Pitt in Charlotte, but I really think Devin Leary, depending on whatever quarterback comes out of here, Tyler Van Dyke is going to be awesome, Phil Jakovic, Malik Cunningham, Brennan Armstrong. We have a really, really strong group of quarterbacks, and I don't know if that gets talked enough nationally, but I'll be the guy to do it. So I'm excited for all of them.